Hello from Portland. Minnesota is just about to become the 12th state to permit same-sex marriage. So congratulations to Minnesota. I think it's worthwhile to talk a minute about how Minnesota came to be next on the list of states to approve same-sex marriage, because believe it or not, the high councils of the gay agenda did not get together and say we should target the Midwest. There's something sort of beautiful about how Minnesota sort of jumped up the list of states, because what happened in Minnesota was that a group of right-wing traditionalist people decided they wanted to amend the state's constitution to forever ban same-sex marriage. And they wanted to write discrimination into their constitution, as so many states, sadly including my own state of Oregon, have done. And what happened last year is that Minnesota voters went to the polls and said, no, we don't want to change the constitution to deprive gay people of ever having the right to marry. We don't see the point of that. It sort of made everyone stop and think, oh, wait a minute, maybe people in Minnesota aren't really opposed to same-sex marriage, and it turns out they're not. And it turns out that majorities in both houses of the legislature and the governor are perfectly fine with marriage equality, and as soon as the governor signs the bill, as he has said he will do, that's going to be the law. And there's a beauty in the fact that this step forward would probably not have been possible if the forces of discrimination had not tried to push so hard. And there was actually a legislator on the floor of the Minnesota House, a very, very socially conservative woman, Republican, who, let's bear in mind, was one of the people pushing to change the Constitution to make discrimination the law of their state, who literally burst into tears on the floor talking about how awful and divisive and distracting all of this same-sex marriage nonsense was, and how upsetting it was for her that we were spending any time on this when we should be doing more important things. What struck me is how things only seem divisive to conservatives when they're on the minority side of them. They're perfectly happy to divide and demonize if they feel like they're in the majority, but as soon as they feel like they might not win the argument, suddenly they are literally weeping and begging everyone to stop being so divisive. And I don't typically try to take pleasure in other people's discomfort, but in this case I'm going to allow myself a little bit of pleasure, because I'm someone who was raised on 80s movies, and every good 80s movie features a bully. And the bully torments the hero unfairly, unjustly, relentlessly throughout the movie, and there's always that moment toward the end where the bully is finally exposed, defeated. No one is on the bully's side anymore. The bully often bursts into tears and cries. There is nothing quite so sweet as the tears of a bully who no longer has the upper hand. There is nothing quite so satisfying as the victory of someone who no longer has to be afraid. And all I have to say to the bullies in Minnesota and everywhere else is that if equality and justice make you cry, you better stock up on Kleenex, because it's just getting started. Thank you, Minnesota. Congratulations. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.